The wife checked her mister's phone and found these names, the tender ones, the amazing ones. Lady of my dreams. She got angry and called the first number to find out that was his mother. Then she called the second number, to which his sister replied. When she dialed the third number, her own phone rang. She cried until her eyes got swollen because she had doubted her innocent mister, so she gave him her whole month's salary to make up for it. Mister took the money and bought a gift for his girlfriend, whose name was saved as Uncle Mike the mechanic. One morning, while his wife was making breakfast, a man walked up to her and gave her a healthy pinch on her butt. He said to her, "If you firmed up your butt, we could get rid of your girdle." The wife was angry, but said nothing. The next morning, her husband pinched her breast and said, "If you firmed these up, we could get rid of your bra." The wife grabbed her husband's penis and replied, "And if you firmed this up, we could get rid of the mailman, the gardener, the pool man, and your brother." Women are just like cartons of orange juice. It's not the shape or size that matters, or even how sweet the juice is, it's getting those fucking flaps open. A lumberjack joins a logging crew that's working deep in the wilds of Alaska, miles away from any other towns. When he arrives, he discovers that the only civilization is one muddy street with a grocery store, a general store, and a bar at the end. He walks into the bar and has a few drinks. He notices there are no women in the bar, only men. "Hey," he asks the bartender, "what do the men do around here for company?" The bartender looks at the clock and says, "You'll find out at midnight." The lumberjack is intrigued, so he sticks around. At the stroke of midnight, everyone in the bar stands up and walks outside. The lumberjack follows them outside. There's a moonlit field filled with moose, and all the guys from the bar are fucking the moose. The lumberjack is disgusted. He runs back to his cabin and throws up. He wonders how anyone could be horny enough to fuck a moose. 9 months later, he understands. He hasn't seen a single woman the whole time. He's so horny, he thinks that maybe he could fuck a moose. He arrives at the bar early and starts drinking heavily. He wants to be completely smashed before midnight. He keeps his eye on the clock, downing shot after shot of whiskey and watching the hands creep implacably towards midnight. As soon as the clock strikes midnight, he jumps off his stool and runs outside faster than anyone else in the bar. He runs up to the first moose he sees and starts fucking the shit out of it. He's fucking the moose so vigorously that it takes a few moments before he looks around and realizes none of the other moose are being fucked. He looks behind him and sees all the other lumberjacks from the bar staring at him in slack-jawed disgust. "What?" he says. "What's the matter?" One of the lumberjacks steps forward. "Dude, that is the ugliest moose I've ever seen." Sam called his wife and said to her in a weak voice, "Hey, baby, I was driving to a coffee shop to meet Mary when all of a sudden a stray dog came in the way. I tried to steer left to avoid running it down, but the car skidded due to high speed, rolled over and almost ran off the cliff. The car was hanging nose down over the cliff as I looked down, fearing impending death. I just managed to climb out of the car and save my life, just before the car fell over the cliff, crashing thousands of feet below and was blown into smithereens." Sam continued, "I was taken to a hospital. I have a broken leg, broken jaw, dislocated shoulder, and several injuries on my head." There was silence on the phone. Then the wife asked, "Who is Mary?" Frank joins a men's group at a private golf club, and the captain of the club informs him, "You'll need to give a talk this evening to the other members after golf, and since you are a new member, our local fun rule is anyone new in the club has to give us a talk about sex." So, that evening, Frank gave a long, detailed and funny account of his sex life, and everyone loved it. When Fred got home, his wife asked him how it went. Fred was reluctant to tell her he told the men details about his sex life, so he told his wife new members were asked to talk about sailing. That just didn't sound right to his wife, but she ignored it. The next day, she ran into one of the men who heard Fred's talk last evening and said, "I understand you all heard Fred talk last night. Did you like his talk?" "Oh, it was great. Fred sure does know what he's doing, and we learned some new things from him." Fred's wife was puzzled, then said, "That's very odd. He has only done it twice and got sick during his second time." Two men were sitting next to each other at a bar. After a while, one guy looks at the other and says, "I can't help but think, from listening to you, that you're from Ireland." The other guy responds proudly, "Yes, that I am." The first guy says, "So am I. And whereabout from Ireland might you be?" The other guy answers, "I'm from Dublin, I am." The first guy responds, "Sure and begorra, and so am I." "And what street did you live on in Dublin?" The other guy says, "A lovely little area it was. I lived on McCleary Street in the old central part of town." The first guy says, "Faith, and it's a small world, so did I. And to what school would you have been going?" The other guy answers, "Well now, I went to St. Mary's, of course." The first guy gets really excited and says, "And so did I. Tell me, what year did you graduate?" The other guy answers, "Well now, I graduated in 1964. The first guy exclaims, "The good Lord must be smiling down upon us. I can hardly believe our good luck at winding up in the same bar tonight. Can you believe it? I graduated from St. Mary's in 1964, my own self." About this time, another guy walks into the bar, sits down, and orders a beer. The bartender walks over, shaking his head, and mutters, "It's going to be a long night tonight. The Murphy twins are drunk again." Once upon a time, in a quaint little town, there was a popular pool club where locals would gather to relax, have a few drinks, and engage in friendly banter. Among the regulars at this club were three married men who were known to share stories about their lives and constantly complain about their marriages. One sunny afternoon, the trio found themselves seated at their favorite table, nursing their drinks and, as usual, engaging in animated conversation. On this particular day, the topic of discussion turned to their marital woes, and they began arguing over who had the most difficult marriage of them all. The first man took a sip of his beer and said, "I have it the worst, guys. My prudish wife won't sleep with me more than once a month. She absolutely refuses." The other men shook their heads in sympathy. One of them, unable to contain his curiosity, asked, "So what did you do about it?" With a sly grin, the man replied, "I slept with that horny blonde over there by the pool table. Unlike my wife, she's up for anything." The men laughed heartily at his confession. The second man, not to be outdone, chimed in, "You think that's bad? My uptight wife won't even sleep with me once a year." The other men gasped and shook their heads, and one of them inquired, "So what did you do about it?" With a smirk, the man replied, "I got my rocks off with that same blonde over there by the pool table. She literally does anything, God." The men roared with laughter, clinking their glasses together. Then the third man leaned in and said, "That's too bad for you guys, but honestly, I definitely have it the worst." His friends leaned in, eager to hear his story. They asked, "What's the problem with your wife?" The man sighed and said, "Well, for one, she's always down here playing pool.